Broadcasting live from the Business Radio X studios in Atlanta, Georgia, it's time for Atlanta Business Radio, spotlighting the city's best businesses and the people who lead them.
Good morning and welcome back to another episode of the Business Radio X Women in Technology series. Today we have a couple of beautiful ladies here to speak about all of the wonderful things that they do in technology here in Atlanta. So we have with us today Jill Arcadio and Stephanie Coleman. How are you guys doing this morning?
Doing well,
Doing
thank
great.
you.
Okay, so we're just going to get straight into it. I'm going to start with you, Jill. Is that okay?
Sure.
All right. So tell us a little bit about what you do in technology.
So I am a former software developer and current software engineering manager at Cox Automotive. I've been in technology for about 6 years now, ever since I graduated from college, and have just worked in a couple of different fields in finance and insurance and credit cards. And now I'm in the automotive space, just creating mobile apps for all of Mannheim's automobile auctions.
Wow. So you listed all of that as if it's just nothing. That's a lot of things. You said finance, you said insurance. So how did you get into technology?
I kind of feel like I fell into technology. I was actually telling Stephanie this earlier. I fully intended to get into finance. Whenever I graduated, I had a math degree from Mercer University.
Oh, wow.
And computer science was my minor, but only because I had already taken several classes and it fit easily.
Yep.
But I applied for a lot of jobs when I graduated, and all but one of them were in finance. One was this little technology firm in Atlanta that I had never heard of, and I got that job, loved every minute of it, learned a ton, and just never left.
Yeah. Well, that's amazing. So how did you get into technology? What inspired you?
I've always loved math. And math kind of lends itself really well to computer science. You know, a lot of the logic that you learn and a lot of the ways of thinking that you learn whenever you're doing math really helps you whenever you're doing programming. They translate really well. And, no one in my family does technology-based jobs.
Right.
But we've always been very into the next tech, the next, virtual reality item, the next whatever's coming up. And so in my personal life, I've always been super into technology and video games and art. And to be able to work in that seemed like a pipe dream.
Right.
So I applied for that one job, like I said, and ended up getting it. And whenever I realized that I could truly make a career out of something that I enjoyed, I just wanted to keep doing it.
So it was fate. You tried for that one job and you got it. That's awesome. So definitely tech had to be somewhere in your background. So you said that you watched, you played video games and you had art and all of that. So how did that all come together?
Well, my brother was a big influence in the video game front. He needed someone to beat a lot. So
you were that person.
I was, until I got to be where I could actually beat him, which was exciting and happened maybe once. So I got into that, and the art piece of it, I took a lot of inspiration from my sister because she's an amazing artist. She would never admit that, but she is. And so just kind of drawing from my family background, and I now am married to someone who's very into the comic book world. So
it ties together.
Yeah, and we're trying to bring the A in STEAM kind of into WIT now. So having that background in art and in graphic design and comic books and how they kind of integrate into the film industry in Atlanta and all of that is so technology based that it just all kind of blends really well into each other. One of the things we tell all of our WIT girls, which are the middle and high school students that we work with, is that every job in 2019 is a technology job. There's no way to get away from it.
Oh, yeah.
So you got to kind of lean in and just accept your fate and, go into technology from all different kinds of angles. I mean, even a radio show has a ton of technology involved in it. So you can't really do something here without doing technology.
That's exactly what I've been thinking. I went to school for broadcast communications, and I end up having to know how to film, how to produce and all of that. So tech is definitely involved in a lot of things.
Yeah.
So I want to go back a little bit to 2014 when you attended your first WIT forum.
Yes.
And you saw so many amazing women on the platform, I believe, and you just wanted to be like them or work for them, right?
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about that.
So I actually went to the 2014 WIT Awards, which is the Woman of the Year. Every year we have 4 women and 1 girl in different categories win Woman of the Year for WIT, and they're nominated through their companies. For the girls, they're nominated at each event that we host with WIT Girls, and seeing them all speak was absolutely incredible. It was at the Georgia Aquarium, which is where it is every year. And there was one woman in particular who I had never heard of before, Janet Bernard, who works at Cox Automotive, where I did not work at the time.
Okay.
And I saw her speak, and I just thought, I want to be her. I want to be her. I want to work for her. I want to do every part of my career so that I can become as awesome as she is.
Yeah.
And then the next woman came up, and she was just as incredible. And the next woman came up, and she was just as incredible. And so I thought, okay, if all of these women are involved in women in technology, I need to be involved in WIT immediately.
So you could be that next person on that platform.
Exactly. So that I can have one person think about me the way that I thought about all of those women. And so the next week, I got together with some of the ladies at my company, and all of us signed up on the WIT website. We all signed up to be volunteers. And within about a month, I was on a team working to create what is now the WIT Mentors program.
Yeah.
That pairs women working in technology fields with girls in high school that are interested in technology fields. So we do one-on-one pairings, and I spent a year with a group of ladies creating that program and getting the mentors kind of up to speed, getting training, getting different content and packages and TED Talks and podcasts and all kinds of things that we could share with these high schoolers to give them the resources that we never had.
And I think that's so beautiful, and it leads into what you do right now with WIT Girls.
Yes,
so you were that girl, or woman, I should say, that was watching all of these women on this platform speaking and wanting to be them. And now you're in the position to help other girls to be in that other position. So I think that's awesome. And I would like you to speak a little bit about WIT Girls and what you do for them.
Sure. So I've volunteered with WIT Girls since the beginning of my time with WIT, which is 5 years now, which seems crazy.
Wow.
And last year I became the WIT Girls Program Director. And what that means is I facilitate and help execute all of the programs that WIT Girls offers throughout the entire year. So
that's a lot of work.
It is. It is. And I love it. I tell everyone that Cox Automotive is my real job, but this is my favorite job.
Yeah.
Just because I really enjoy it. I get a lot of fulfillment from it. And we work with middle and high school age girls, so 6th to 12th grade, and we host 4 different programs for them. We have career explorations, which is where companies come out to middle and high schools in the Atlanta area and teach them about what they do at their jobs. We've had people come out to a Gwinnett County middle school and do a cybersecurity talk over their lunch period, and different events like that. Then we have immersion, where the girls actually come out to the companies on a Saturday or on, a school holiday and sit and do a career panel, or they'll do a hands-on presentation, or they'll do a problem-solving event where they're trying to come up with a way to use technology to solve a real-world issue. And then we have 2 programs that are just for high schoolers, which is our mentoring program that I spoke about before, and our summer job shadow program. For job shadow, we have, I think this year we're going to have 85 spots available.
Wow.
Where 85 high school girls. Yeah, which is incredible. 2 years ago we had 50. Last year we had 75, and this year we're looking to up it to 85. So it's exploding, which is great. It's a good problem to have. But for job shadow, the girls actually spend a week at a company in Atlanta, and they shadow different teams. They shadow individual women who are working in their careers. They just kind of learn and immerse themselves in that company So they actually spend 4 days doing that.
Yeah.
And then on Friday, all the girls from all the different companies around Atlanta get together in one room and they all present to everybody else what they learned. So everybody gets a little bit of the knowledge from across all the different companies.
And I think that's just such an amazing thing to start from 6th graders to 12th graders. You're giving them a different insight and just a different look on the possibilities of what they can do. Because I do know that a lot of females in high school want to do the typical nursing or, the things that are just typical for women to want to do. So you guys starting at such a young age and showing them that there's this whole other avenue of things to do is just so amazing. So how does a day in the life of a WIT program director go?
What does that look like?
Yes.
Well, it changes day to day.
Yes.
But for each event, basically, I have a list of sponsors that are people that are companies that have donated to WIT and want to be part of WIT Girls. We've got WIT Campus, WIT Girls, and then just general WIT sponsors. So all of our WIT Girls sponsors are able to do at least one program every year with us.
Okay.
And they all are given the opportunity to do job shadow in addition to that one event. So I sort of go through the list and see who's coming up, who we haven't done an event with, and see who's next and coordinate with them. I've got a team of 12 people behind me on my leadership team, which is new and great.
Yes.
And it's definitely a blessing to have. And all of us kind of have our set roles. So I've got school relationship managers that are connected with teachers and administrators at local schools that are able to get information about our programs out there and get information from the girls about how we're doing, if the programs that we're offering are truly providing them value.
Wow.
So that we can change our content if it needs updating.
Yeah.
And then I've got some program managers that run each of the 4 programs that I spoke about. So I kind of help coordinate all of them to connect.
You're the boss.
Basically. But I connect them with the sponsors. I get the dates locked down.
Yeah.
I go through all of the school calendars for every school system in Atlanta, which is a surprising number. And, make sure that we're not doing something on a Tuesday afternoon where they're all in class.
Yeah.
Or if we're not hosting an event over spring break where they're going to be on vacation.
Right.
So I kind of coordinate the calendar and the registration and making sure that we're promoting things on social media. And, I probably do an hour or so of WIT things a day. Throughout the week, which is not terrible. It used to be a little bit more, but now that I've got a really, really strong team behind me, they're able to support and coordinate all of the events.
Takes a lot off of your shoulders.
It does. And I'm able to really focus on strategy and making sure that our vision is being, satisfied. We used to have 5 different programs, and we combined some of them because we realized from the feedback we got from our school relationship managers that the programs that we were offering, 2 of them, the girls didn't know the difference between. So we decided if that's the case, we'll just make them one program and we'll run it with twice as much funding, twice as much time that we can dedicate to it so that we're not splitting our focus when we don't need to. So that's the area that I can focus on now that I have the team available.
Good. So do you find that the girls starting from 6th grade, do they go all the way up until 12th grade, or do some of them fall out, or do they stay?
So that's a great question. WIT Girls WIT has been around for 26 years.
Wow.
WIT Girls has only been around for 8.
Okay.
So this is the first year that one of the girls that started in 6th grade and came all the way through completed the program.
That's amazing.
So we've seen some girls fall out. We've also seen some that start in 10th grade and continue on to WIT Campus, which I know is what Stephanie's more involved in.
Yes.
And so we have had a couple of girls that kind of complete the journey, and we've had a few that fall off, but I'm trying to keep track now that we're in a space where we can have some 6th graders who are now 12th graders to see what happens and see kind of where their journey goes.
And we'll use that girl as an example to come back in and you say like, hey, I love this.
Yeah, absolutely. We had one girl who she didn't go all 7 years, but she started in early high school and then continued on to I believe she went to Harvard last year.
Really? That's amazing.
Yeah, she's incredible. And we had her give a little video testimonial at WIT Awards last year so that everyone can kind of see this is why you sponsor programs like this,
right,
so that we can have a girl from middle of nowhere in Georgia move on and go to Harvard, you know, and have this incredible technology or science or engineering or any of those STEAM letters opportunities that she may not have gotten otherwise.
Exactly. So what's the most rewarding part of this whole thing?
For me, it's getting to interact with the girls.
Yeah.
I get to know the girls that are repeat attenders pretty well, and seeing them go from, you know, shy 6th graders or even 9th graders at their first event to presenting at Job Shadow or speaking in front of a panel of women is just really incredible to see. Just getting to know them and seeing them kind of blossom and become more confident in who they are.
I love that. I love your whole story. I love how you started, everything. So thank you so much for coming in and speaking to us about what you do for WIT Girls here in Atlanta. And if someone wanted to know a little bit more about you and what you do, how can they reach you?
They can reach me. I'm on all social media platforms, Jill Arcadio, possibly J Arcadio, if it wasn't available, and on LinkedIn.
All right, awesome. So we're going to be moving on to Stephanie Coleman.
Hello.
How are you doing right now?
I'm well, thank you.
Did you hear all the amazing things that she does for WIT Girls?
Absolutely.
So I want to hear all the amazing things you do.
Shoot.
All right, so give me a little bit of your background and how you started.
Well, interestingly enough, when we first started today, we talked about when you guys graduated. I've been in the game a little bit longer than you guys. I graduated.
You look amazing.
I graduated from the University of Georgia in 1994 with a degree in management information systems. Prior to going to University of Georgia, I started as a computer science major at Hampton University. When I transferred to UGA, I decided all the math that Jill is so capable with, I am not as capable.
Okay.
So I wanted to move over to the business school, which is why I chose management information systems. So that was able to give me an opportunity to blend both still keep the computer side, which is what my love was, but also get the business aspect. Okay. So I became an MIS major while I was at University of Georgia. I also co-opted. And so that started me really on my path to getting a career in technology. And while I was at Georgia, my total focus was I want a job in tech.
Yes.
And so co-oping was an amazing opportunity for me. And when I graduated from Georgia in about 1994, I ended up, I started with a company that does not exist anymore, Arthur Andersen, which was a Big 6 or Big 4 accounting firm back in the day. And there I started off as a programmer and then transitioned, and that was down in Sarasota, Florida.
Wow, so you've been all over.
Somewhat, yes. But because of Arthur Andersen, I was able to do a lot of travel.
Okay.
I ended up transferring up here to Atlanta to the Arthur Andersen Business Consulting Group, where I continued to grow my career, continued programming, but got into testing and business analysis, all of the things within the software development lifecycle. So Arthur Andersen was a great place for me to really hone all of my skills related to the software development life cycle, and just to grow as a technologist. And eventually I became a project manager. When Arthur Andersen ended not too long ago, in early 2000, I ended up transitioning to another company, a smaller company, as an application developer, senior application developer, and QA specialist and QA manager. And while I was transitioning from Arthur Andersen, I started my own web design company and development company. So I did a lot of small business web design and development, and that's my love for web. That's when it started. And so for it was really just small businesses that I worked with, but it was a great opportunity. And that was before all the classes that you can take now to actually learn how to do webs. Anyone can go online now and learn how to do it. I had to teach myself, but I was able to do that and start my own business. But I also I have 2 children, and I was able to both full-time job, 2 children, and had my business on the side. And so I kind of slowed that down after I left the small HR company, I was able to then move over to Southern Polytechnic State University as the web services, the director of web services. And I was responsible for redesigning the website for Southern Polytechnic. So the last 3 iterations or so of the Southern Polytechnic State University website,
It's all you.
That was me and my team. It was a team of us that did that.
That's so amazing. You said a lot of great things. And what I take from it is you are a superwoman.
Don't know about that, but thank you.
You are. You have 2 kids. You had a full-time job. You started your own web design company. You taught yourself, went back to school. Like, that's amazing. And give yourself a lot of credit for that.
Thank you.
So tell me a little bit about your web design company.
Well, it doesn't exist anymore. One of the things I found out, the older I've become in my career, or the more seasoned I have become in my career, that's where WIT and the WIT campus has really come into play in terms of, I'm hoping some things will come together in a nice, beautiful way. Because my career has led me to now, I'm currently a director of digital communications at a company here a very well-known company here in the Atlanta area, and I'm responsible for that website, email marketing, and social media.
Okay.
And because my kids are older, I don't have the time to really sit and really work one-on-one with clients.
Okay.
But I would like to be the caveat between those clients. I do still have people who come to me to see if I can help them with their website, and potentially bridging some type of a gap by getting to know some of these young ladies in WIT campus, and potentially bridging a gap where they can start getting experience with some of these companies that are coming to me, and then I'm trying to build something along those lines.
So do you still do a little bit of your own web designing, like freelance a little bit?
For myself.
Okay.
I have a couple of websites in mind that need to come to life.
Yeah. Well, I would love to see some of your web design stuff.
Well, I'm not really a designer. I'm more of a developer.
So
I work very closely with a lot of designers.
Okay.
And so I am more so the developer. When it comes to design, I'm ready to throw a computer out of the window because that is not my skill set.
Is it a lot of work?
It's not necessarily a lot of work. It just truly is. I think people really take for granted
how art.
It is truly an art. And that is, I can own up to the fact that is not my skill.
Forte.
That is not what I do. But development, project management, and knowing what needs to happen to manage a website, those are the things that are my expertise.
Yeah. So you didn't start off in insurance?
I didn't.
Or finance?
I did not. No,
so this was always a passion.
My senior year, I'm a first graduating class of Westlake High School.
Awesome.
And up until that point, I wanted to be a lawyer. My father was a lawyer. When he passed away, he was a judge. But prior to that, I wanted to be a lawyer like my dad.
Wow.
My senior year of high school, I decided I took a basic programming class. I don't even know if either of you know about the basic programming language. I took that class. I was like, oh my gosh.
I love this.
This is going to be my life. And I was very fortunate. I know a lot of people don't know that so early on, but I've been very fortunate from my senior year taking that one class. I wish I remember the teacher's name so that I could give her some credit, but that one class led me to where I am today.
All right. So let's fast forward to today.
Yes.
What are you doing for Women WIT Campus?
So I am a campus manager at WIT Campus at Kennesaw State University.
Okay.
I've been a campus manager for the last 2 years. This year I'm partnering with another who happens to be a faculty member. Her name is Nicole Wilson. She's also a campus manager with me. Another person on our team is Rachel Stuve and Paris Walters. All the 4 of us make up the volunteer team for WIT Campus. We have an amazing faculty advisors, Dr. Sarah North at Kennesaw State, and we have great officers. We have been so fortunate. The last couple of years, WIT has been evolving and wanting to grow the WIT Campus program. And so I've been a part of this program. Now, I tried to start in the 2016-2017 year, but then in 2017-2018 year, there's a brand new push. Mm-hmm. A lot more focus was granted to WIT Campus to really get these young ladies who are on the college campuses. So there are about 13 campuses around the state that have WIT Campus teams like the team that we have at Kennesaw State. And we all come together about quarterly to discuss strategies on how things are working at our individual campuses.
Yeah.
And that's been an amazing process, and getting to know all the different ladies. And so we get an opportunity to work with our individual clubs, and each club is taking a life of its own, but at the same time maintaining the brand and the values and the vision of WIT, the home office downtown Atlanta. And so I really love where we're headed this year. The mission has been to really, when we're talking with the girls, and it's a great alignment between the sponsors, WIT, and the WIT campus clubs, to get these young ladies on these campuses ready for the workforce. Yeah. And so that's what all of our focus are. So any events, any activities that we do, we ask all the sponsors who come in to speak to our students, and any of the activities that the volunteers do on the campuses should be around getting these young ladies ready for the workforce. Yeah. Because WIT campus is, to me, it's a diamond in the rough in terms of the opportunities that's available to these young ladies. It's all benefit. It's very little downside. You're getting all of these women who are already, like Jill, who are already in the technology community, who are coming out, giving of their time to give their advice to these young ladies who are just starting out. Then WIT, on top of that, does things like give away scholarships and internships. So it's nothing but win and benefit from participating in a WIT campus. Yes. So we just finished the process. I think the end of January was when, or sometime in January, February, was when the scholarships for this year the scholarship applications were due. And they've just a lot of young ladies have internship opportunities, not only through the companies that work with WIT, but also through WIT itself. They've had a number of interns themselves.
So how does the WIT campus program work? So I'm a college student. I am in tech. Do I just find my way to you guys? Are you guys recruiting me?
So we encourage everyone first to go to mywit.org. Okay. And you can join mywit.org. And when you're at mywit.org, you can see what college campuses have a WIT campus club at that particular college campus. There are a lot of schools in the metro areas. Again, it's 13 statewide, but there are a lot of schools in the metro area. But there are 2 who are outside of the metro area. Down at Georgia Southern, there's a strong WIT campus presence there, and strong WIT campus club. There's also a strong WIT campus club at Columbus State. And what's amazing for both of those is that the volunteers who are doing those campuses and volunteering for those campuses, making sure those clubs grow, are actually volunteers who live in the Atlanta area, who are taking the time to volunteer and go and spend time with the ladies at those various college campuses, in addition to all of us who are volunteering here in the Atlanta area.
That's amazing, because I'm in broadcast communications, as I stated earlier. I find that it's hard for me to break into it. I don't think that we have any type of like mentorship program that's helping us, get out there into the world. So you guys that are doing this for technology, it's just so amazing. I think that's what I love
about WIT, is because it gives, that's one of the things that Jill and I were talking about earlier, is that I wish WIT would have been, if I would have known about it. It existed clearly when I graduated, but I didn't know anything about it. And I would have loved to have had a Jill or a number of the ladies that I work with on a regular basis to serve as a mentor for me, because so many things that I had to go through as a woman in technology, being the only woman, being the only black, or being the only black woman in these settings of programming with all of these men. It's been a challenge, and it would have been nice to have had some mentors that I could have gone to. So I want to now serve in that role for some of these young ladies.
So now, do you work with some of the ladies like one-on-one, or are you more of someone that doesn't really interact?
Well, for me, I'm truly committed. And I think that it's important that anyone who volunteers for WIT, especially for any of WIT, but definitely for WIT campus, should really think about what you're doing and really commit to that program. So in my mind, when it first started, I said, I'm going to at least give it 3 years, at least. So that way I know it's not a one and done, that you want to affect lives, because it's really important to these young ladies. But I think I'll be around way more than 3 years. Yeah. But what happens is when you're on the campus itself, I get to work very closely with the campus, not only the campus advisor, but also all of the executive boards. So each campus club has officers. WIT campus has a constitution and bylaws that sets forth what officers we should have for each club. And so we get, as WIT volunteers, we get an opportunity to work extremely closely with our WIT executive board. And again, this has been a new push over the last 2 years, so it's still evolving. And I feel like WIT campus at Kennesaw State, we're really getting into our stride.
Yeah.
And so I'm very excited about the possibilities. I know there have been other WIT campus clubs around the state who've been very active, like Georgia State has a very active presence. I know Georgia Southern has a very active organization, and they do a lot of great things. I hear about that with the all hands meeting that we have. You hear about the great things that all of the schools are doing. And so each campus is bringing forth, like, just bringing that life for, and all of the campus volunteers are getting to work with some amazing girls. Our president last year, she actually told me she ended up getting a job with Microsoft. Wow. And she told me, she says, Miss Stephanie, I would not have gotten this job. She didn't think if she were not president of the WIT Campus Club. Yeah. She thinks that is the edge that she was able to have to get
having
that position.
That leverage and that program behind you supporting you is awesome. I know that's my word. Awesome.
That's fine.
So now I know you've only been there for 3 years. Have you seen some of the ladies graduate and go on to other things?
Just a few.
Yeah.
And it is nice to see. And that's what's been amazing. It's like, I don't remember seeing these A-type kicking girls that are just rocking. I mean, I don't remember seeing a lot of that.
Yeah.
But in this setting, we're getting to see some amazing students. I mean, incredibly intelligent students who are very driven, who are looking for that job. And I just think they need the guidance. A lot of them need the guidance of the volunteers. That's why the volunteers have to be committed, because they're seeking this guidance, not only to help them get that internship or get that job, but then hopefully it will develop when they've graduated. We encourage them to join WIT so that they can participate in the WIT forums and continue to network within that environment and find a peer or a mentor. And so it can be a lifelong, that's the beauty of WIT. It can be a lifelong journey to success.
So do you find yourself working with girls?
So we were talking about, we did talk about that a little bit earlier. So I was actually introduced to WIT because I was a finalist for Woman of the Year in Technology in 2013. Ooh. And the president of Southern Polytechnic State University had nominated me. And for me, I didn't think I would get anywhere in the process. And she and I was like, let's just explore it. I was like, this sounds like a really cool organization, so let's just see what's happening. And then when I became finalist, I was like, this was totally not expected. But I was so amazed by the program. And when I left Southern Poly, I moved to another position. That's why I had the little drop off.
Yeah.
But I always wanted to come back to Southern Poly, but to that campus. So that's why it's Kennesaw State, the Marietta campus, which houses the WIT campus at KSU. Because I have a lot of friends and colleagues who are women who are deans of the engineering department and the IT department or department chairs, just amazing women in technology. So they're just as passionate about having that program there. Right. And so that's how I got back involved with it. I don't know if that's the question you asked me.
No, you told me a lot. I really liked hearing that information, but I just wanted to know more if you work with girls and before they get onto the college campuses.
That's what happened. So when I became familiar with WIT, I wanted to explore. And so I would encourage anyone who has an interest in WIT in general and volunteering, explore the different areas. There are a lot of different areas that you can volunteer with WIT, whether it be WIT Girls, you can help with some of the events that WIT puts on, and you can also have WIT Campus and a lot of the events that also occur with WIT Forums. And so I did explore a couple of WIT Girls events, and I found that that's not quite me.
Okay.
And part of what I was saying about that is the fact that what I love about WIT Campus is these girls actually know I want to be in technology.
Okay.
Just like Jill, she saw those ladies. I know I want to be this one day.
Yeah.
So I want to serve in that capacity.
Okay.
Not necessarily encourage someone who may or may not want to do it. So that's why WIT Girls is not quite for me. But But again, I explored. So I think I did, but maybe 2 or 3 WIT Girls projects, because they'll have one-off projects. And I volunteered for a couple of those, but I said, nah, that's not quite me. So I moved on to WIT Campus.
So listen to this. This is a suggestion. I'm just going to throw this out there.
Okay.
I would love to see some of the ladies from WIT Campus, like the college students, come and work with WIT Girls and just tell them what they're doing and how you guys all there are helping them in the mentorship program.
Well, actually, the students at WIT Campus would love to do that.
Yeah.
And I'm not and I know the ones at Kennesaw State would love to. So all of them have shown an interest in wanting to do that. Again, WIT Campus is relatively new, so we're getting our stride.
Yeah.
I don't think that that's something that's far-fetched at all. I see that potentially being something that will blend together eventually.
So you're not the first to say that.
Okay.
We've been talking about that for a long time. And one of the things we're trying to do is whenever there is a volunteer opportunity for a WIT Girls event, we open it up to the WIT Campus students.
Ooh, yes.
So we have our leadership team. We have the women that are kind of involved. And then we also have this group of 13 schools that have tons of people at them that are, ready and willing. So sometimes the schedules can be a little tough, but we are trying to sort of incorporate that. One of the ways we're doing that is the website redesign competition that Stephanie was speaking about. We don't only have WIT Campus groups that are competing for this redesign. 2 of the groups are actually WIT Girls. So they are competing against the college students to try to redesign our website, which is really cool. And it's a good opportunity for them. If they win, they get prize money and they get to see their website come to life. And if they don't win, then they get to see all of the opportunities that the college students have and the way that they created their website designs and what they did differently to win, to kind of learn from their, competitors. Yeah. So we're starting to kind of incorporate the 2 programs a little more closely. It's just a 2019 kind of brand new initiative,
Yeah. So, what was my next question? How do you guys stay relevant in the whole technology scene?
Well, for myself, obviously our jobs. So my job is really based on, again, I'm responsible for a major company's website, email marketing, social media.
Right.
So I definitely stay up on all of the different technologies that are to stay relevant.
Yeah.
All of these spaces are changing constantly and all the time. So we have to maintain, and you have to continue to learn.
Yeah.
And I'm constantly learning. But I also have, again, I mentioned desire to have my own websites.
Right.
And so I continue to I taught myself before. I would teach myself again to learn. I'm a huge believer in everyone should have their own business on the side. And I think websites are a very easy way. Anything in websites and technology, in radio or podcasting, there are so many opportunities out there for everyone to to do something on the side.
Yeah.
And I think the internet and all that the technology offers is a great way for that.
So would you like to answer that as well?
Sure. So like Stephanie, I learn a lot through my job and, the way that our company is changing. And honestly, I learned a ton at our WIT events. I go to as many WIT forums as I can and through the WIT Girls events. I know they're targeted at high schoolers and middle schoolers, but we did an event on cybersecurity and I feel like I learned so much that I did not know before, just because they're teaching it at a level that anyone can understand. You don't have to have that experience to get it.
Yeah.
And, I learned about supply chain management at a WIT forum. I learned about Bitcoin at WIT. I learned about, so many other new technologies and ways that technology is changing through some of the WIT events, even if that wasn't my original intention for going, just because you're exposed to so many different people at so many different companies. And I come from a long line of teachers.
Okay.
Most of the people in my family are teachers. So we're a big believer in a lifelong learning.
Yeah.
And I think you kind of have to be constantly trying to better yourself and improve yourself, whether that's through personal development books or professional development books or podcasts or any other way that you can constantly be kind of keeping your finger on the pulse of what's going on in the tech world. There's so much available that's free that you can just go on YouTube and watch, somebody building a robot and take a tutorial about how to do that same thing, that there's just really no excuse.
A friend of mine was telling me that she's like learning how to code. I'm like, how? She's like, YouTube.
Well, and that's the thing with a lot of the WIT Girls events, all of our events are free.
Yeah.
So we do not charge any of the WIT Girls for any event that we host. Wow. So in order to do that, we have to have free resources that they can use outside of the event, that they can continue that learning. Okay. So we're about to do an event on augmented and virtual reality. And one of the things that the group that we're working with, Women in Extended Reality, is going to do is they're going to provide us with some free or inexpensive resources for how the girls can continue the projects that they're starting at the event. So I fully intend on, getting some of those resources and sharing them on our social media and sharing them, with just my colleagues that may be interested in it, because these opportunities are available. You just have to know where to look.
So I'm not in 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, or 11th or 12th grade. Can I attend?
You can.
I would love to learn a little bit more.
You can probably attend a WIT campus event.
Okay.
Yes. And similarly, the WIT campus, we have an opening ceremony and a closing ceremony. This year's opening ceremony was conducted by First Data, who is one of WIT sponsors. And then the closing ceremony is being held by Mercedes-Benz. And so the young ladies spend a full day learning at those in their environments, learning something about getting ready for the workforce and using the tools that these companies use in their environments. So it's really, again, similarly, I've been learning a lot from not only just from the WIT events, because to your point, when you mentioned STEAM and arts, one of the WIT forums that I went to was about the entertainment industry and seeing all the CGI and how you just don't even think about how all of this, again, all of it is technology. And then and when these companies come and present to these students, I was telling Jill that a company that she is very experienced with, they came and visited Kennesaw State. I'm like, I don't recall companies like this when I was coming through and visiting with us. So it's really exciting being able to see. I'm excited for just this generation, not only for myself, but for them and the opportunities that are just, it seems endless. Unfortunately, kids these days, they want things so fast and so quickly that they want it now, but it's so much out here. And you just have to be patient and find what's for you. And that's one of the things we get to talk to when you get those one-on-one times to hear a student's, not struggles, but what their scenarios and their situations. Calm down. Everything's going to work out. You're in a great field. You can just pick your industry. You will have, there's going to be so many opportunities. Just be patient and trust the process.
I feel like you're preaching to me and all that I want to do right now as well. Well, thank you, ladies, so much for coming in and telling me all about the things that you guys do for WIT Girls and WIT Campus. And if someone wanted to know a little bit more about you, Stephanie Coleman, how can they reach you?
Well, I am also on social media, primarily LinkedIn. That's where I'm mostly active, is on LinkedIn.
All right. So do you guys have anything else to share with ladies that are listening?
I would like to piggyback just a little bit off of what Jill mentioned before, that we are very excited about the process that we're in the middle of with this website redesign competition.
Oh, yes.
Because it is blending both the college students and the WIT Girl students. And so 3 winners, there will be 11 teams currently involved in the competition. And there will be 3 teams that will win. First place will win $1,000 each. Second place will win $500 each. And third place will win $250 each.
So you win regardless.
Those top three do, yes. And getting the experience that you're going to get. And then if you actually have the next WIT website, that's gravy for your resume for anyone, whether it be a WIT Girl student or a WIT Campus student. So we're excited about that, and we're excited about our partners and the sponsors who are providing these great prizes, Green Sky and Delta. So WIT has a lot of great sponsors and partners that it all comes together so well. And it's been a pleasure to watch how it all unfolds and these opportunities that come together for these students.
Such huge sponsors. So when does this take place?
So we're in the middle of it. And actually, so if any of these ladies are listening today, they know that their projects are due by 11:59 tomorrow, March 15th.
Oh.
And the winner will be announced on April 12th. And these winners will then get an opportunity. So here again, it all blends together. The winners will present at the May WIT Forum, which is open to the adults who are in WIT.
Okay.
And so they will get to present there.
Wow, that's amazing. So many great things happening for you guys and for the ladies that are in WIT as well. So thank you guys so much for coming and speaking to us and saying all the great things that you guys do. This is another episode of Women in Technology here on the Business Radio X station. This is Sanjay Ture.